when we were talking about the definition of banks. So the functions of banks can be categorized into two. One is primary function and secondary functions. So in our class, we are going to discuss about primary functions. Okay. Primary functions of banks can be categorized into two. Okay. First one is accepting the deposits. Okay. Second one is lending money. Accepting deposits means banks, they accept savings, which they encourage savings by accepting deposits and giving a justifiable or a nominal return for the money invested with the bank. So we have learned the definition as accepting for the purpose of lending or investment. So that's where today we are going to discuss. Primarily, they accept for channelizing the money from the savers to the borrowers or to the people who are in need of money. Right. And the second thing can be making investments. It can be in the capital market. As you say, it can be in the stock market, but there are guidelines regarding how that investment should go. So banking primary function can be classified into two: accepting deposits and lending money. Now going with accepting deposits, we will just see how, in what all ways, or what are the different types of deposits through which banks are accepting our money, right? Broadly, these deposits can be categorized into fixed deposits, current deposit, saving deposit, and recurring deposit. Now, some of you might have seen fixed deposit receipt, FD receipt. It will be a sheet of paper which will be contain the name of the person in whose name the money is being deposited. Then it will show the interest rate, the amount of how much amount you have put it as a deposit, and the due date when it is getting matured. Suppose if I have put money today, say 50,000, I have put that with a bank today, saying that I want it back for after 1 year. Maybe it will get matured on 27th of the next year in the month of November. So that is a deposit put for 1 year. I can put for 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 10 years, or even beyond that. But normally we go up to 10 years because banks, for them to predict interest rate, how much they can give it, they will ask you to revise it after that period. They will not encourage you to put beyond that. You can put it for 3 years. Then they will ask on maturity date, you can think of revising it. So it can be along with the interest. If you do not want money at that particular point of time, you can reinvest it. Again, put that as a deposit, fixed deposit along with the interest. So fixed deposit, as the name indicates, it will be a deposit put with the bank or invested with the bank, generally for a longer period. Okay, generally for the longer period, starting from 6 months to maybe maximum, normally up to 10 years. But generally, banks go with accepting deposits. They say that if you put for 3 years, this is your interest. If you put for 5 years and above, this is your interest. So generally, people will go and put for 5 years or like that because interest rate is same. So later they can revise. So that's why fixed deposits are, as the name indicates, that will be deposited with a bank for a fixed tenure, fixed period. And banker will give you a proof of this investment as a FDR, that is fixed deposit receipt. As I said previously, this receipt will be indicating the name of the deposit holder, amount for which it is put, the interest rate applicable, the period in which it is getting due. So when we are cancelling, then there can be a question that you might ask, if I put for 3 years, can I withdraw my money before that? Yes, you can do that, but you will have to sacrifice a portion of your interest that has been promised. But you can withdraw at any time. If you want, you had put today and you want to withdraw that maybe after 3 months, you can do it, but by sacrificing a portion of your promised interest rate. So when if you are waiting till the maturity, you are trying to withdraw at the maturity date, then you will carry this fixed deposit receipts, and you will sign at the back of the receipt while giving it back to the banker when you're redeeming, when you're canceling your deposit, when you're withdrawing your money. Right? So fixed deposit is the first one. As the name indicates, it will be for a longer tenure. Now, some of your parents might have put money with the banker. They would be having a FDR, fixed deposit receipt. If that is the case, you can take it and see, experience it. How does it look like? So that instead of hearing it from me, you will have a better idea of how does a fixed deposit receipt look like. Then the second type which we are going to discuss is about current deposit. Okay, current deposit, normally this is a deposit which is maintained by business people. There is no restriction on withdrawal of money or deposit of money, because business people very often they want to withdraw, they want to make payments, they want to transfer money. So it is called as a demand deposit. On any day, at any time, there can be transaction that is being carried out with this type of deposit. Accordingly, there is no interest rate which will be given by banker on such type of account, but you have a facility of overdraft. That is, even if you have zero money, based on your zero deposit in this account, based on your credit worthiness, you can overdraw, you can withdraw money that is not there in your account, depending on your credit capacity. Suppose if my credit score is very good, maybe I would be able to withdraw 10% of the total turnover of my business. It's like a short-term loan, right? So that facility is available only to current deposit holders, but there is no interest rate that the depositor will be getting for such type of deposits. At any time, there is no restriction regarding the withdrawals, because in savings account we have a restriction, but no such thing is applicable in case of current deposits in almost all the banks. Okay. Now going with savings deposits. As the name indicates, the primary aim of savings deposits is to encourage savings of public. Even though all the deposits is having that basic aim, saving deposit, they encourage even minimal savings on a daily basis from the depositors. Now, if you look at the interest rate, ranging from 3% to 4% is eligible to be received in your saving deposit. So savings deposits are primarily for encouraging saving habits of the customers, where you can deposit your money, you can withdraw using a debit card, using a check, using a draft, or by transferring money from one account to another. All of you would be having, if you have a debit card, if you if you have a card, ATM card, then definitely, most probably, of course, there are other types of accounts which have been supplied with ATM card, but most of the savings deposit account will be having a ATM card, and you should be having that if you have opened a saving bank account with the bank. It also helps us to make our transactions or render our transactions in a convenient way. You can look into your ATM card which you are having in your hand. You can see that there is a number, and when you swipe in, you can see your money being withdrawn from your bank deposit, which is in the form of savings deposit, saving account. You call that a savings bank account, SB account. So the particular nature of this is it will be generally for meeting our day-to-day requirements of money transactions. That is why, since there is a demand factor in that, the interest provided to such deposits will be much lower than that is there in case of a fixed deposits or recurring deposit. Generally, fixed deposit, we get an interest depending on the bank, type of the bank, but we get an interest ranging from currently ranging from 8% to 12%, generally in the nationalized banks. So 8% to 12%. Some of the banks even give 7.5%, also 7.5%. But if you're going for a long term, we get a interest rate of starting from 8%. But our savings bank, savings deposit account or savings deposit fetch an interest rate starting from 3% to 4%. Right? Because those deposits are withdrawable as and when the customer wants. You can withdraw it, even though they have placed some restrictions on the number of times you can withdraw from an account in a day, the total amount which you can withdraw using an ATM card. Still, it is at our tip of, we can engage in either online transfer or withdrawing the money from ATM counters at our convenience. So that's why they carry a lower interest rate, and the primary aspect of such deposit is to encourage people depositing money with the bank and earning a small, minimal, a nominal interest for the same. And then going with the recurring deposit. A recurring deposit is more or less like a fixed deposit. Now, as the key word here, which you have to remember, is recurring. Instead of putting money one time in a bank, continuously you are depositing money for a longer period. It will not be like savings deposit. Recurring deposit is like a fixed deposit in nature. It is money being put for a longer period. But here, instead of putting one lump sum amount, see, maybe I can speak from my perspective. I'm earning salary on a monthly basis. So maybe I do not have money to to bring a lump sum money and then create a fixed deposit in a bank. But I can afford to invest money at a regular intervals for a longer period with the bank. So what I can do is I can open a recurring deposit and say the banker, yes, the maturity date of this deposit can be kept for 5 years. Every month I would be depositing maybe 10,000 into that account. So that is, the account is in fixed nature. It is for a long term, but what I am doing is I am not depositing in a lump sum. Every month a specified amount is going from my account to that deposit. The maturity period of that would be longer time. So the interest rate offered in this account will be more or less like fixed deposit. I underline, it would be more or less like fixed deposit because the term is long term. The banker can use this fund. Logically, we have to understand like this. The banker can use this fund for lending for a longer period. So when you lend that money, when the banker give that money as a loan, which I deposit to another customer who is in need of loan, banker will get a return in the form of interest. Right, that would definitely be higher than what banker is paying me, the saver, as a return in the form of interest. So that's a plus point of the banker can take this money and lend for longer time. But that facility cannot be enjoyed by a bank for saving deposit. It's for a short time. Banker does not know when will the customer come and withdraw the money from a savings deposit. So that's why, even though there are certain restrictions being laid down, banker is not in control of movement of money out of saving deposit. So they may not be able to lend this money to a customer who is in need of long-term loan facility. So the return for such deposits are lower. Accordingly, the return given to the customer for depositing money also would be lower. That's why savings deposit fetch lower rate of interest when compared with the fixed deposit and recurring deposit. Of course, current deposit, there is no interest being provided by the banker because there are no restrictions on withdrawal or deposit of money. And current deposit holders enjoy one more facility, which is called as overdraft facility. Overdrawing the amount than what is there in your account. Maybe you have zero balance, but you can withdraw money for a short term. You need to have credit worthiness. You need to have good credit score. In that case, if you are in need of immediate, being a business person, you might be in immediate need of fund. at some point of time. In that case, you can get the consultation, you can place the request and withdraw, get it sanctioned from a banker by withdrawing money over and above than what is there in your account. So that's what you call as the overdraft facility that is possible for a current deposit holder. So these are the different, but you can see that there are different variations for these types of deposits. Fixed deposit product can be offered in more color, as you say, more attractive way. And sometimes banker might say that if you deposit money today, within 5 years, it can be doubled. So basic nature is it is fixed deposit with carrying an interest put for a longer period. But the product can be placed before the customers in a better way to make them, to attract them to put the money in the bank. So these are the different types of deposits. So today we started with discussing what are the primary function of bank. Banks, functions of banks can be categorized into two. One is primary function and secondary function. Primary function, again, it can be broadly classified as accepting deposits and lending money. And we were talking about accepting deposits. The function talks about accepting money from the savers by offering them a nominal, a reasonable return. Now, for a banker, accepting deposits can happen in different forms. We discussed about the basic 4 forms. That is, we talked about fixed deposits, current deposits, saving deposits, and recurring deposits.